Collins and HenricK, the rack bring the chaos. Gaming news and industry talk, they got it all. Rage quitting, head banging, it's a metal brawl. Mental meltdown, gaming in flames. Chris and HenricK bringing the thunderous rage. Video games and viral content. Better games, ripping through pixels, the ultimate game to get away. The ultimate. Rave over, I'm feeling the rage. Chris Collins and HenricK on the stage, talking gaming news, industry that can't escape. We're reviewing video games, no need to debate. They bring the heat, spitting truth non-stop with fiery words. They're ready to drop, making waves in the world of video games. Collins and HenricK, they don't play no games. From console wars to DLC scams, they expose it all, making sure no one jails. The audience fired up, ready to explode. When rage quits on, you know it's a code. You know it's a code. When rage quits on, you know it's a code. Rage quits. Rage quits. I'm losing my mind. Chris and HenricK, they're talking gaming all the time. Rage quits. Rage quits. It's a love-hate affair, but I keep coming back. Ain't nothing else to compare. Rage quit. It's a love-hate affair.
What's raging, gamers? Welcome to Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. How you doing, HenricK the Wreck?
You know me, Chris. As always, I'm doing fantastic. And guess what day it is today?
What's today?
It is the 35th anniversary of the Game Boy being released in the US.
I got so many great memories with this Pocket Pal, man. I mean, I feel like this was like, for a lot of us, the first time just even touching Pokemon, you know, and exploring that world. What are your go-to games back then, HenricK?
Well, definitely Pokemon is up there. That's probably the one I spent the most amount of time on the Game Boy. But I did also like Metroid, specifically Metroid 2, their underdog of the series. I'd say if anyone has not played that game, maybe don't play the original one if you want to have a very jarring experience.
Yeah.
But there is a remake. You can go play the remake.
Yeah, I don't think Gen Alpha
projects,
could. I don't think Gen Alpha has the attention span to be able to go through the trial and error. You know, just playing Super Mario Bros, for example. I mean, that was just so time consuming. But man, when you held it down, you knew that you were that gaming master after all.
Exactly.
But man, we always like to, start off the show with the bang and show you guys a lot of viral content that is circulating all across the globe. And man, HenricK, this has got to be one of the more crazier stories because gamers, check this out. A caller on the Ramsey show is going viral after revealing he's $50,000 in credit card debt from gifting Twitch subscriptions, proving that generosity could be really expensive if you don't have financial literacy. Let's have a listen.
You're just gifting thousands of dollars away to people?
Yes. I got so into the hype. You drop that $500, 100 subs, everybody goes crazy, and they hype you up, and I got so into it. I don't know, it just kept happening. I just kept doing it, and I wasn't keeping track. I wasn't paying attention. As soon as one credit card max, go straight to another one.
Over what course of time? How long did it take you to acquire this debt?
It was over a year.
Over a year is crazy for that.
I wish I had over $50,000 to just kind of like splurge my money into nothing. I've never understood that hype.
Technically, he doesn't actually have that money.
True. Fair point. But I mean, let's go into the comments because some of them were quite feisty. I've seen people doing that on Twitch, donating like $1,000 all at once. I just figured they're rich. I never thought it might be an addiction problem. Yeah, I mean, I understand, some people like in this really in-depth interview, the guy explained that he was in the military and obviously he wasn't in front of his video game console, but he wanted that kind of like that sense of escape and found Twitch to be kind of that place to go to be able to watch some of his favorite streamers. But again, HenricK, I don't understand. I mean, have you ever done a donation towards your favorite streamer? That's never happened in my entire lifetime.
You really haven't? I mean, I'm pretty sure I have, but definitely not over $100. Because I mean, like I would like to support someone whose content I like, but at the same time, I gotta make sure that I can still pay my bills.
Yeah, no, fair enough. The next comment we got here is, sounds like an OnlyFans addiction. Yeah, maybe he's just saying Twitch to justify his other wrong or potential truth.
You know what? You're not wrong. Maybe some of the people he donated, maybe they have another link in their channel that they're linking to.
Well, I guess OnlyFans, you get a little bit more of a sense of pleasure. Like, where's the pleasure when it comes to giving away free money? Or not free money. I keep saying that. It's just, yeah, you get the point. And again, This guy says, this boy spent $50,000 to have kids shout him out. Yeah, definitely feels very problematic. And I know what was also could be kind of problematic is, I'm a single guy, still looking for that significant other. But, as you're in a relationship, I'm sure HenricK the Wreck knows all about this. Maybe you don't realize, HenricK, sometimes you're being spied on by your girlfriend. And maybe they're recording you without you knowing. But sometimes when you're gaming, you forget who else is in the room, right? So one gamer's girlfriend was stunned to see him completely absorbed in his game, proving that not even a relationship can break his focus. So, wow, I love this.
Like I say, man is immersed in the game.
I mean,
he is in it.
Let's just go right into the comments. I mean, I'm speechless. It's, I mean, amazing posture. Like this, person saying, why does good posture look mad unnatural? That's kind of where my mind was going.
It's a natural thing for people to just slouch nowadays.
Yeah, you don't want to be like the Hunchback of Notre Dame or nothing like that. Nobody wants to see that. Bro's playing politely. Oh, is that what happens when you finally get in a relationship? You start to tone down some of your bad habits on the mic and you just sit there politely playing video games.
Maybe he's holding himself back from raging at his gamers.
Or from rage quitting.
Exactly.
He's holding himself accountable. This is hilarious. If I don't move, mom won't notice it's past my bedtime. Posture. So maybe he's been punished like all his life. So like His girlfriend just doesn't phase him.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely possible. I was one of the guys who, growing up, I would sometimes be up playing on my Game Boy,
Yep.
not supposed to be, and then one of my parents comes in the room and is like, "What are you doing?" And I just immediately like toss it to the side. I need to be asleep.
Well, always think about, we were just saying, it's been 35 years ago to this day that, the Game Boy came out. I believe all of us have like laid down on our stomach and played awkwardly in that position. I can't do that anymore. That's not a thing. It's kind of like you were joking about, in previous episodes about the guy with the silver tape, for the Counter-Strike LAN party, laying down, kind of looking like Superman. Like, how's that even possible? Well, the beauty about, or the non-beauty of AI-generated images is people get to kind of have some fun with these amazing tools online. And I know there's been this video that's been circulating across the web of gamers playing popular titles, but these are AI-generated images, revealing that we all apparently look like intense, sleep-deprived superheroes in the middle of an epic quest. So have yourself a laugh.
I like how it's like stereotyping every type of gamer that plays these games. Like, for example, what it did to the Genshin Impact player. And I'm sorry if any of our viewers do play that game, but I think you know what kind of gamers play that game.
Or think about Rust. I mean, the AI is a little still kind of dumb and just probably takes the word as literal. And so the person looks really grungy. Or what about grandma? Like how we were talking about on past shows, about how, Roblox has been experimenting with bringing a more dating environment to the video game base. Imagine if their player base was full of grandmas. You know what I'm saying? Like they're completely far off.
Yeah.
The only accurate one is Rust, though. After I just literally said they went off the context of the literal word, people aren't agreeing with me, HenricK.
I guess so.
Is that what you look like when you're gaming in your room? Please tell me that's not the case.
I actually look a little more like the guy from the last clip, if I'm gonna be real. I try to make sure my posture is correct. Because you know what? We're getting up there in age, Chris. We gotta make sure that our back is taken care of, all right?
See, I'm not worried about none of that. None of that. Nothing. Glad 2K wasn't up there. I just know we would have had a problem. Yeah, what would have happened if that was the case? I have no idea. Use your imagination. The next one, Granny probably playing hood role play on Roblox. Yeah, that sounds about fair enough. But hey, while we're at this moment in the show, we want to thank you, the subscribers, for always tuning in live every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, because this show would not be possible without your guys' support. And here's a QR code for anybody that's not subscribed to my YouTube channel. I got a lot of amazing things always cooking up weekly. So what are you waiting for? Hit the like and share and hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show.
Yeah, and go ahead and hit that QR code as well. You go to my YouTube channel where you'll see when we go live from my YouTube channel. So
that's right.
Go and check that out as well.
Yeah, like, I mean, where are we at right now? We got to get you to 200 subscribers, right? Like, we are so freaking close.
Just under that.
Make that initiative happen. We're going to get it by the end of August. Let's go, baby. And man, are you ready to rock and roll, HenricK? We got amazing things to discuss.
Oh yeah.
Wait, we definitely didn't mention this real quickly. The lower third, you know the drill, fam. You know, you guys, wherever you guys are tuning in from, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, or Meta, we want to hear from you gamers. So join the conversation wherever you are typing in your text box. We will see it live during the show, and we will feature you live on air just like this beautiful lower third. So join the conversation. Let's have a lot of fun. But HenricK the Wreck, are you ready to rock and roll, my man?
I do, and I know what time it is. It's time for pause or repeat.
repeat! Let's get it, baby!
Hey everyone, this is Pause or Repeat. Here we figure out whether a game is really worth your time and money. Today's game is EA Sports College Football 25. This is EA's big return to making a college football game. The last one was with NCAA Football 14 from 2013, but EA is more well known for the Madden series, of course. This game, still being from EA, has some of the DNA of Madden in it. Is the fact that it follows college football instead of NFL enough to keep it feeling fresh? Let's tackle the gameplay side of things first and find out. The gameplay of College Football 25 is of course still football. You can't exactly change the rules of the sport so wildly between games when the sport hasn't changed in real life, right? But what can differ is how the game feels and plays. There is a new control mode for passing that especially experienced players will be able to take advantage of fine-tuning the details with. However, if you would like the system already familiar from Madden, then that is an option as well. Other additions include meaningful stat scaling to the quarterback's throwing based on player stats, as well as a wear system, to name a couple. The wear system is basically a stamina stat that can be used to gauge the player's condition. With too much wear, the player cannot perform at full potential. Outside of the gameplay, there is also a bit of college world building in a sense. This is boiled down to resource management, having to juggle your classes and GPA alongside practice and game days to make sure your character is not only in good standing with the school, but also the team. But of course, the meat and potatoes of the gameplay is always going to be the football games themselves. Now the question, is there any story to this game? There isn't a traditional story with characters, but there is a quote road to glory mode, and it delivers the game with some RPG-like elements thrown in. But now the question still stands. Pause or repeat?
All right, Chris, we all know, and this has been a thing we've talked about before on the show. I'm not a huge sports person.
Yes.
It's not a no like, harm in that necessarily. But hey, I still had fun with the game. But I want you to kind of, lead us in as you being the resident sports person of the show. What did you think of the game?
I'm just curious, what's your favorite play in this diverse playbook? Was it the quarterback kneel? No, I'm just playing. No, I mean,
the quarterback kneel where you just count down the time?
Yeah. You just let the time progress down because I had to torture you to play a sports game. No.
You know what? I will say that is a nice addition that you can do that, because I can just imagine, an online play that being used for some bad manners, towards your enemy.
You can definitely, speed up the clock and all that kind of fun jazz. But man, dude, the hype for EA College Football 25 is very real. I mean, we were talking about it previously. Over 2 million gamers gladly paid an extra $30 just to play the game 3 days early, because apparently impatience is worth $100. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, I thought we weren't
$30 more to play it early.
Yeah, but then I guess there is some benefits to it, Henrik, because the more I think about it, I'm single, right? But I know there's guys and ladies out there, you have a significant other, right? So they might not be entirely thrilled that you spent the extra $30 to play your game early, but hey, view it like this. At least you're saving money by staying in all weekend, right? There's nothing like romance on a budget. That's all I can say. $30, that's not too shabby. Your girlfriend's going to want to get some ice cream even after the dinner date and a movie date, anything of that kind of nature. But with going back to the gameplay, man, after a decade-long break, thanks to, the legal drama and the NCAA rules, EA College Football is back. And, I think it's really cool. You're getting players now that are receiving digital fame, even getting paid $600 each, which is kind of like its own story within its own self. But think about it. You have like the traditional NFL route that has over 32 teams. You get to play with up to 134 team football subdivisions. That, to me, that's one of the most amazing benefits about the game. I mean, how did you feel just experiencing, just the college atmospheres within each stadium?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I even when I went to college, wasn't really a big person in terms of like going to go watch a football game. But this game does, give you the same kind of experience, even down to like the camera shake
Yeah.
from the crowd in the stadium, kind of
Or the
making the
drum
camera shake.
rolls, you know,
Or
from
yeah,
from the band, the marching band.
the production of it, like from the cheerleaders to the mascots to the teams running out and everyone's cheering. Everything is like the details are all there, and I appreciate that because it does try to lend itself to reality in that sense. And I mean, I have been to football games, but not really that many, and I can say from what I have been to, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of gamers out there that have been kind of saying, ever since, leaving that college environment, it really is kind of cool to go back to maybe Oregon State or UCLA, USC,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and be able to kind of witness that like kind of same game day approach. I think that is like a really, really cool aesthetic with the game. I did mention the drum roll. Was anybody else like really disappointed with the music in EA College Football 25? They kept hyping this thing up as if it was going to have this like blockbuster roster, and it just on a level, it got kind of tad of annoying. I mean, I'm a drummer myself, but hearing like like after a while, that just drives you bananas.
Maybe
But,
they
like,
need to focus on that a little bit more on the next game.
maybe just
next
a little
year.
bit more. But like because I was kind of clowning this game a little bit before it came out because like you were talking about like even in your excellent video to hype up, pause or repeat, the whole wear and tear factor or just being able to kind of do the micromanaging inside EA College Football. I don't know about you, Henrik, but like to recruit the top talent in this game, you're going to have to kind of do things that might make most adults cringe. Like, unlike Madden, where you can just draft players and trade players, you have to dive deep into like a high schooler's social media profiles. You have to slide into DMs. You have to convince them to come and visit your campus. It's like online dating, but for football stars. Like,
Yeah,
to
it's
me,
like,
it's weird.
I get what they're going for. They're going for more of that, like what the recruiters actually have to do in real life to actually get these players on certain teams. But maybe this isn't the game for that. Like if they didn't have that feature, I'm sure no one would complain.
Yeah,
And
it's go ahead.
I think if they had gone even further into it and made it a little bit more fleshed out, maybe then it would have been better. So if they decide to keep that for next year, maybe they should do that. Maybe they should flesh it out a little bit more.
Because you've already been seeing some of like the cringy, like weird NPC conversations that like people are having some fun with,
and
it's
they end
like
up repeating as well.
Yeah,
because the
and
game's not perfect.
Yeah, it kind of takes away from the experience in a sense. It's like, yeah, you got your kind of like clickbait moment, or, I guess. Yeah, cool. There's no such thing as bad publicity, right? But I don't know. I felt like it would be really, really cool to like actually feel like you are an NCAA coach. It's not quite there as of yet, because I feel like if you're like a sports journalist and you're kind of writing about like some of the imperfections that college coaches do that treat their athletes in maybe a way that or they they promise them one thing and then they don't fulfill it on the other end, or they drop the student halfway through and don't fulfill their scholarship. I mean, what does this teach our future generations? I mean, that was just kind of like a random sidebar moment that I was kind of viewing it from that kind of sense. But kind of going back to the gameplay, the defense, I don't know. Do I suck ass, Henrik? I mean, it doesn't matter whether I'm playing strong safety, cornerback, or linebacker. Playing defense is so freaking brutal. It's like trying to catch a greased pig.
You know what? I can agree with you on that because, and maybe this is, just both of us are not good at the game. I mean, I don't even really play these games in the first place.
No, I love Madden. I love playing defense.
I suck at it too.
Like, I'm a big Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I like playing as Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's usually really freaking good. If you're like kind of stalking your opponent online. But I just feel like they run right by you. And I don't know. I feel like the hit stick is like completely useless. Like, what's the point of adding that feature if the guy's like right next to you? You would think a basic hit would happen. That's a little bit of the bugginess that kind of needs to be fixed, but it did kind of take away from the experience that I was feeling. But, you were also mentioning even in your video, the Road to Glory mode. Everybody's been really, really looking forward to, this. But I kind of felt like, there's some major flaws that kind of really grind my gears with this mode. I think one of the number one things is, and I've been seeing it online, and hopefully EA will make like a patch to kind of bypass through this, but like, why can't you just call the plays you want to call? Like, sometimes, you might want to choose in in this mode, road to glory, that I want to be a quarterback, but they just keep handing the ball off. And so essentially you're just watching a computer playing this like cinematic experience while
A simulation, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not fun. And that's really not cool. And I know there's been like some ways where, you can kind of like tweak it a little bit with like, the play selection, but even that alone I don't feel like is enough. I just felt like I was a spectator just cursing at my screen the entire time. How did you feel about that?
No, I agree, and I think it really goes back to the fact that I don't think that a lot of the features in this game are the main focus of the game, and that being really probably one of them that they in the next iteration can improve on, because I'm sure their bigger focus was making sure that like the online play, which is really going to be what keeps this game alive, is people playing with each other. I think that's really going to be the thing that they, when you look at this game, that they focused on. And I mean, yeah, it did feel a little like, okay, well, you put this mode in and it's not really fleshed out, it's not finished, it feels like.
Yeah,
that kind of sucks.
because
But
I feel like they were
at
just
least they put it
to...
in, and they can try to fix the little things here and there that they can, and maybe next year they'll do it better.
Maybe it was different in your experience, but like it just kind of felt like they were just trying to add so much into one game because they were just so excited that there's such an 11-year drought. Like, I mean, yeah, it's really cool that you get to make your own stadiums, make your own team. Like, I even saw one guy going viral. He was like, I'm making the Tatooine Outlaws, kind of referencing Star Wars. And, there's like really cool things. And I know that they're trying to implement that into a more online experience, moving forward with the game. So I think that's kind of promising. But, in a sense, I'm going to say pause, HenricK. Like, this game just doesn't feel like, because that's the problem. Like, it gets recycled year after year after year, like Madden. And even with, like, some of these headaches that I'm already having with just this rebranding, in a sense, because originally it used to be called NCAA football, now EA College Football 25. I don't know. I think it's a pause, but if it definitely comes on sale during the Christmas time, I mean, what are you waiting for? I mean, yeah, jump on the game. It's still a whole lot of fun. It's just like, it's not quite there for me. What about you, HenricK?
Yeah, I keep saying this, but really I am not a sports game person, and so for me it is a pause, but I definitely could see this being a game that if you're someone who has enjoyed the Madden games year over year, and you enjoy that experience of not really getting a different game every year, then this is going to be a game for you. It's just not a game for me. That's all.
Yeah. But hey, the hype is still very real. Like, again, 2 million gamers paid $30 extra just to be able to play the game 3 days earlier. So you cannot take that away from Electronic Arts.
Yeah.
But hey, you heard it from HenricK the Wreck and your boy Chris Collins. But man, we got a whole lot more things cooking up here on Rage Quit Video Game Talk Show. So HenricK, are you ready to rock and roll, my man?
Absolutely. Let's rage a little bit.
Let's rage a little bit. Come on now. What's good, listeners? Welcome to Patch Notes, where my co-host HenricK the Wreck and I discuss gaming news, industry talk, and so much more. Let's get it. The Screen Actors Guild American Federation of Television and Radio Artists initiated a walkout this week on behalf of approximately 2,600 actors involved in voiceover, motion capture, and other works within the gaming industry. As you can see from this chart, until the latest strike is resolved, members of the 160,000-person union will no longer perform in video games produced by Activision Blizzard, Warner Brother Games, Electronic Arts, and 7 other companies under an interactive media agreement. The demands mirror those made to television and movie studios last year. Just to kind of recap what that meant: higher wages and job protections against the threat of artificial intelligence. The union also seeks improved safety measures on sets, such as having a medic available on site. So let's go ahead and dive deep and read the opinions from gamers all across the world that wanted to voice their opinions on this new strike that is now official. So the first comment we got here is, Obviously, as we highlighted the 10 companies facing the strike, the comment reads, I find it pretty interesting that Insomniac is the only Sony company singled out here. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but just odd, laughing out loud. Anyway, hope this goes well, treat workers well, and get AI slop as far away from me as possible. Well,
Yeah, I think a lot of people agree on that. They don't want AI slop, as people call it, to be anywhere near their games that they enjoy.
Well, I mean, I feel like there's going to be that balance, and I think, as we read more comments and, you and I will discuss it even further, but I think there are definitely some pros to cons, but it definitely feels like there's a lot of negatives at this moment. One person followed up to reply to the comment we just read, and the person says, it's cause Insomniac handles most recordings in their own studio, while other Sony studios will outsource it to Formosa Interactive and VoiceWorks, both of whom are listed among the studios that will be facing this strike. And another person followed up by saying most XGS and Bethesda productions use blind light. So yeah, sometimes it can be kind of tricky about who's going into the strike and who's not a part of it. Unfortunately, non-union voice acting already pretty prevalent in the industry, so I don't know if they have a ton of leverage. It surprised me when I learned that Smash Bros. Is non-union. This is why, Palutinas?
Palutinas.
But man, my boy HenricK coming in clutch. Changes for the ultimate newcomers, guidance Easter egg, and probably why both Cloud and Sephiroth don't have their English voice artist. Let's go into the next comment. Generally speaking, big voice actors are rarely a selling point for video games unless it's Hollywood celebrities. So naturally, they have a lot less bargaining power. Are there ever a selling point? I feel even the big ones like the Laura Bailey and the Troy Baker, if you don't recall, that is The Last of Us, would basically cause more of a whoa, cool, rather than, oh, I'm so playing this reaction. Voiceover artists in the West are just really lacking in any bargaining power that traditional actors or even voice artists in Asia tend to have. And let's go into this.
It's interesting to say that too, because Troy Baker, if you go look up his IMDb, any of you guys watching, he's in so many things that you have probably not even known he's been in. He's in that Indiana Jones game that's coming out, for example.
Literally looking like Harrison Ford. In a sense, kind of really nailing the voice too. But then again, it's that same argument. Chris Pratt is Super Mario. Does that really get your ass to go to the movie theater because Chris Pratt is voicing Super Mario? Hell no. It's like Seth Rogen, Donkey Kong, and the list goes on and on and on. But let's go into this comment. The biggest leverage SAG-AFTRA would probably have is with the studios that rely on a lot of motion capture from their actors. There's a lot of hard to replace talent in SAG-AFTRA if you need a game with both body and facial motion capture to go along with your normal voiceover artist recording. Yeah, that would be like the Cyberpunk 2077. You got Keanu Reeves, Giancarlo Esposito in Far Cry 6. Yeah, those kind of games would definitely feel the massive impact right away. And let's go into the last comment, which reads, I'm super pro-union and I believe in the things that these people are striking for. Having said that, I've never once purchased a game based on who was doing a voiceover for that game. To be entirely honest, I don't care who does the voices for the games I play. I guess what I'm saying is it's hard to be super supportive, like joining a boycott or something of this particular strike, even though I'm generally very pro-union, and I do hope they get what they want. And yeah, I mean, I think that's fair to say. So, like, HenricK, how will the video game actors strike impact me as a gamer? I know that's been another, like, red flag that's, like, a lot of freaking people out, right? Like Grand Theft Auto 6, you better not be delayed. So, like, what is it? I mean, will the NPCs start giving me the silent treatment, or will they go on their own protest quest of their own? What's gonna happen to the gamers?
Well, GTA 6, don't worry, guys. It's safe. It's done. The voice acting is untouched for that at that point. We're just waiting for the game to come out, basically. But for other games, unless it's a smaller project, it's not really going to be something we see immediately. It's going to be something we see maybe next year or maybe even the year after next year, so
Yeah.
2026, that those games are going to start to be delayed if the strike lasts for a long time, like the last one, especially because last one, what was it, like
About a half a
180,
year. About a half a
180
year.
something days? Yeah. So that is a huge wrench in any plans that a studio has to make a game happen because yeah, you could think of it like, hey, voice actors, it could maybe be the last part you need for something. But when you have games, especially the ones that have like motion capture to go along with the voice acting, you have to do that at the same time. And that is a pretty important thing for some of these games, like you mentioned for a game like Cyberpunk. If it has
Yeah.
that sort of storytelling, and all of a sudden you can't hire an actor to be your voice or your motion capture, well,
Yeah, production gets
now
put
you
on
can't do the
hold.
story at all. You can't animate it even because the animation is based off of the motion capture.
Yeah. That's excellent points. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, in the immediate sense, gamers, don't freak out. Like nothing's gonna
Yeah.
happen to you as of yet. But yeah, they're as far as like your day-to-day gaming going, nothing's really gonna change. But I think the thing to take into account that might happen is like kind of maybe like the lack of storytelling or just like the lack of just like real raw human emotion or connection to the gamer because the consequences or whatever deal is struck, we really don't know what's going to happen as of yet. But like,
Yeah.
think of it like this: it's a games that we might play in the future might be potentially have more AI performance. It's fewer of your favorite actors. I know, Nicolas Cage talked about how he was really, really excited to finally immerse himself in this video game space, especially when he made his special appearance with Dead by Daylight, right? You've had Samuel L. Jackson that's really, said like, hey, listen, look, like I was already an established actor, but, being a part of the Grand Theft Auto franchise, oh my, it went beyond just screaming mother effer at everybody, right? So like to see that, a place where a good majority of voiceover actors launch their careers tend to be with video games over cartoons or anime. Yeah, this is very disheartening. We've
Do you think
talked
there'll
about.
be more of like what happened with the finals, where like there's not even an actor in the studio recording? It's just 100% an AI doing
I
the
mean,
voice, and then like maybe some grunts and things like that done by someone.
well, I say, HenricK, why don't you go ahead and you show that image on air that we have? Because I think that's a very important segue that we should discuss. You guys might be wondering, like, what is this? What am I looking at? This is Call of Duty, okay? And, people might be wondering, like, listen, look, video games, this might be behind them. But last year, Activision introduced what you're looking on the right of the screen, which is an AI-generated cosmetic for sale in the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 store. This is what sparked worries about the effects of AI on the industry. So, could you imagine what the voiceover artist is going through? I mean, they don't even know whether they have the protection if I work with, like, let's say Activision, but any studio, as a matter of fact, they just don't know if it's like a one and done deal, and then they take the rights of your name, image, and likeness. Really, it's your likeness that's really being the main focus with this whole AI provision. And they just want to know that you're not using their voice recordings to duplicate your voice and repurpose it to create character models that you originally submitted as work. And if they do want to, use AI provisions, then they, like, let's say you live in Europe, HenricK, you're out in Liverpool, you can't make it out to Santa Monica studios. Like, we were talking about the story about in Cyberpunk, remember? Cyberpunk 2077, they did the expansion, and, one of the, I'm blanking out on his name right now.
Victor Vector's voice actor had passed
Right.
away, so they asked the family if it would be okay to use some AI to get some of his voice lines in.
Right. And so if you can come to an agreement with the studio like the family did, who's going to argue with that? I mean, I don't see what the problem, but it's the fact that people just want to be paid for their likeness, and that's why this is a very, very serious concern. It's like what we've seen, like with you get all kinds of AI music websites out there today. There's a reason why OpenAI was getting slammed by the New York Times, for example, where the New York Times is going, "How did you train your models? Did you guys literally just go through all of our articles and feed the machine, and like that's how it became quote unquote intelligent?" Like there's there's so much we don't know still about AI.
Yeah.
I mean, I truly believe AI is very, very exciting. I do see some benefits with it. I mean, I think there's actually a lot of major benefits. It's just like this is like one of those more trickier battles. And what I mean by benefits, it's more along the lines of, developing your worlds, right? Making, the environments and, speeding up the process to be able to develop games. I see that's where the benefit. But I'm curious with you, HenricK. I mean, where does your mind lay? Are you kind of like, are you in the middle? Are you just like anti-AI? Are you pro-AI? I mean, where are you at?
I'd say I'm probably a bit in the middle because I don't want to see artists get screwed over like that. Where, like what they're fighting for now is, like you were saying, not getting paid for their likeness being used or their voice being used. That sucks because
Yeah.
that means that someone just lost their job that could have been potentially even better than what the AI was delivering
Hey,
in the
the
first
news
place.
today. The news today
Yeah.
with Bungie, right? Another
Yeah.
200 plus employees. That was about what they said, about 17% of their workforce just got laid off today. While the CEO, whether, you want to debate it or not, like we were kind of discussing before the show, right? The CEO bought 24 classic cars, and that was roughly about $2.3 million. And he's saying that we need to cut down on costs. And they're like, dude, you're making a lot of money, but you keep laying off your staff.
Yeah.
So, but then again, you can make the argument, hey, you're CEO for a reason. Spend your money however you want to go. But I think that's a fair point. Dude, there's over an estimated 10,500 people in the industry alone laid off in 2023 alone. That is insane, right? I mean, that's wild.
Yeah, and I feel like, yes, there is the good side of using AI. Like you were saying, you can use it to speed things up. We've seen tools from Unreal Engine 5, for example, where you can use AI to procedurally generate and like kind of speed up the process of building environments. And then you can go in and like tweak the little fine details after the fact where you feel necessary. But when it comes down to it, I know for a fact that a lot of the companies that are going to start using AI, especially to that extent to, speed things up, they're going to use it as an excuse to let go of people.
Yeah.
And that sucks because that means then, like I was saying, people lose jobs who didn't have to lose their job, all because the higher up people in the company decided, we don't really need you anymore because we have this tool to replace you.
And I think that's
and what that's
kind
going to mean for us gamers as well is we're going to see less creativity in the game's environments and artwork and maybe even in voice acting because there isn't as many actual artists in the industry doing it handcrafted. Instead, it's just going to be AI doing it for them.
Yeah, fair enough, HenricK. And, also, too, let's also take into account Bethesda just recently, unionized themselves. I think you're going to start to see that a little bit more pushed further. I mean, just even thinking of video game journalism, right? Even IGN, the prominent IGN even fought to try to get themselves unionized. So it's not just even in the gaming industry space, it's also happening even in the journalistic side of things as well. I mean, maybe this might be an opportunity for more indie studios to flourish. I mean, there's tons of possibilities that could happen from this, but I'm curious from you gamers. I mean, how do you feel about this whole SAG strike? Does this are you with the provisions that SAG-AFTRA is looking for to protect their voiceover artists, or do you feel like they don't really have any merit to kind of stand on it? I mean, it's going to be tough, but then again, let's just leave it with this kind of final note, and then we'll move on to the next segment. CVL Economics, they're a consulting firm. They interviewed over 300 CEOs, executives, and managers. Nearly 90% of video game companies have already implemented AI programs within their workforce. So we'll leave it off at that. Yeah, it's insane. Well, let's go ahead and switch subjects right now. So go ahead and break it down, HenricK. I love this story. This is so freaking badass.
Young drivers are preparing to hit the racetrack later this year thanks to their video game skills. Racing Prodigy is bringing together some of the best gaming talent from around the globe and putting them behind the wheel of real race cars on actual tracks. The championship will showcase 24 drivers and 6 reserve drivers, all of whom secured their spots through a rigorous selection process. Earlier this year, drivers had the opportunity to test their skills in real life at an event called Prodigy Week, in which Dalton David and Williams Esports described it as, quote, like the NFL Combine, but with motorsports.
I like that.
Let's take a look. We have a video.
Becoming a professional race car driver, but maybe it was too expensive or always seemed out of reach. Here at Racing Prodigy, it is our mission to take those dreams and make them a reality. Prodigy Racing League is here to offer aspiring real-world race car drivers the opportunity to compete across multiple gaming platforms to earn titles and coveted Prodigy passes. These golden tickets in motorsports allow you access to trips that are fully paid for you to train, learn, and even compete at Prodigy Week, our real-world racing academy held at Atlanta Motorsports Park in November.
This reminds me of that one movie that came out recently called Gran Turismo. It was all about based on a real story of a guy who became a professional racer by playing Gran Turismo in his home. And it's an amazing story, really, when you come down to it, because that means that the guy was good enough from playing games. So we got gamers reacting to the Racing Prodigy proposition with the following comments.
Yeah, let's go into the comments right here. So the first one says, really looking forward to the event. See you all in London. Cannot wait. What an opportunity. See you in London for the draft. So that's really, really cool. Next comment we got here is, as you referenced, the movie brought to life, and even Racing Prodigy acknowledging that, saying our mission is to provide more opportunities and sustainable racing careers for a larger number of drivers using our PRL E2 Real pathway. Former GT Academy winner Nick McMillan is one of our advisors. That is fascinating. I think it's fantastic. I love it a lot. Next one we got here is only the start, and it's absolutely amazing already. Never would I ever thought I would be at this point here. Next one we have is great recap. The lines between real and virtual are blending even more. Well done to all drivers. The Radical is an excellent platform to start in as well. And let's go into this one right here. When will the esports season 2 start? Thank you for the question. This is a reply from Racing Prodigy. We are working on the Season 2 Esports Prodigy Racing League plan and will spread the word as soon as we announce. Stay connected with us on our website and socials to find out first. And last is a purely incredible opportunity, and I'm honored to be a part of something so incredibly groundbreaking. Proud of all of you guys. It's an honor to take this leap forward with Outlaws and Racing Prodigy. Oh, man, I feel like there is so much potential and amazing growth for this, HenricK. And will Racing Prodigy drivers, I think this is the main question that they're going to find out real quickly. Can they handle the G-forces of the real racing, or will they need to update their gaming chairs to include a built-in race car seat?
Yeah, maybe. There are more and more VR tools being developed. So maybe a company out there needs to develop a tool, maybe like a vest or something that you wear that will apply G-force simulation onto your body while racing, so that they can translate that into real life, even as another factor on top of everything. Because, it is a thing when you're driving in your chair at home compared to driving an actual car. It's going to feel a lot different, even if the controls are the same.
Oh, yeah, so true, man. And I know 50 drivers traveled to Atlanta Motorsports Park to test their physical fitness and mental strength. They definitely had to undergo what they said was media training, which I thought that was kind of interesting. They got to hit the go-kart tracks and a whole lot more. And so they were also test on an on-track ability with they were using the vehicle, what was known as a Radical SR1. So that is really, really cool. And I think, what they were also saying too, a part of this Racing Prodigy draft is 6 teams were tasked with choosing 4 drivers for their roster. I think that's very, very cool. And who would have thought? Because, again, I don't know about you, HenricK. I've always viewed, race car driving as whether it's NASCAR or F1 racing. It always feels like it's kind of like a rich man sport in a sense. I feel like this opens up the door for a lot of people to get into this world that really wasn't accessible for everybody unless you had parental ties to racing.
Oh, yeah, and it really is. When you look at a lot of the drivers, a lot of them are still also, people who have been selected that are good at driving. But then you do see some drivers where it's like, okay, you bought your way into this position because you had the money, you know, paid for everything to make it possible. So now you have the chance to drive it as well. They don't
Yeah.
let that happen all the time because, you know, they do want to have drivers that are competent on the team. But
it's also like
yeah,
sim
it
racing.
is a thing. It's a lot of money, you know.
But yeah, right, exactly. That's what I was gonna get at. Like sim racing, it's in comparison, it's so much cheaper, you know.
Yeah, it's
compared
so
to like,
expensive for you know, comparing, you know.
oh,
You just
absolutely.
buy like a keyboard and mouse. Compare that to a whole racing sim. The
Hey,
racing
it's like
sim's gonna
sending your
beat the
kid to
cost.
ASO soccer compared to ice hockey. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
is a little bit more of an expensive sport to explore. But I find this to be such an amazing thing. I think it's such a great idea. Prodigy Racing is doing on their end, and the Prodigy 3 Championship will begin at Atlanta Motorsports Park on October 22nd and 23rd. So if you want to be a part of that event, obviously you know what to do. Reach over to the Racing Prodigy website and learn more about the championship and how you could get involved. Man, very, very, very cool story. But I don't know. I don't think I want to be behind the wheel. I drive like a granny after all. But hey, I think this is a perfect segue. You ready to talk about this one? Because
Yeah.
I'm still baffled about this. I mean, recently, the vape market has seen a new twist with digital products that include video games. Last year, disposable vapes added a small LED displays, mainly to show battery life. However, within just 6 months, these displays expanded to the size of a flip phone screen and started featuring retro games like Pac-Man and Tetris, all on devices costing under $20. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's go ahead and take a look.
That's wild. That
It's wild.
not even exists in the first place.
Oh man,
Because, like,
so true.
I don't know. I don't vape, but I don't know if I'd want that in the first place.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just insane. You know, the rapid advancement of vapes to include interactive displays coupled with their potential appeal to young people is raising concerns about nicotine addiction among gamers. So, obviously, we got comments around the world reacting to these new vape products. And the first one we got here is, now imagine one of these with Wi-Fi and all the games are real cash gambling apps. You load it up by tapping your credit card.
Yeah?
Yeah, let's not give any
It's
more
something
ideas.
they could go to. Don't give them ideas.
We do not target our products towards children. Big vapist. Yeah, like big pharmacy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The nicotine warning about it being addictive juxtaposed to this is just the chef kiss. Yes. 2 addictions in one. Buy one, get one free. Yes.
There you
Oh,
go.
wow. What a time to be
Exactly.
alive. I mean, look, this is terrible, but can it run Doom?
I'm sure it can.
Don't give them any more ideas. To be fair, this isn't what kids want. This is what aging executives think kids want. They can play games on their phone. They don't need your cancer Game Boy. Yeah, you know, like I feel like this is very weird too. I don't smoke vapes either, but like, are we sure those new vape screens aren't just a clever way to distract teens from realizing they're actually addicted to nicotine instead of just trying to beat their high score in Pac-Man?
Yeah, no, it definitely is another factor to consider. You know, hey, you can have this vape, but don't think about the fact that you're vaping. Just play the game, man. Just do that.
Yeah.
Can we also talk about how wasteful that is to have it on a disposable one? Oh, man. And we thought that it was wasteful that we had to buy a new phone every year sometimes.
Yeah, they definitely feel like aging executives because, like, weren't people even bitching about, like, you're like, oh, wow, you know, Resident Evil 4, you know, it's really cool that it's on the new iPhone, but, like, do we really want to play that game on that small little screen? Well, shoot, you're playing on
Not
less
really.
than a 2-inch screen of Pac-Man, Tetris, and Jetfire that you can easily just download from your phone. Like,
Yeah,
you gotta,
or emulate.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I just find it really, really wild. And even like you can see with the statistic down below in the lower third, the California Department of Public Health surveyed more than 31,000 high school students last year for the California Youth Tobacco Survey and found that 21.6% of them reported trying a tobacco product and 7.3% currently used tobacco. I mean, just that alone. I mean, could you imagine just pairing up video games with vapes? Yes, you could easily see that being a problem. I mean, yeah, I'm always advocating to play video games. I just don't see this as being the way to go.
No, go just play games on your phone if you really want to, or I don't know, play the game on the computer or a console. This is not the way.
No,
this is not the way.
This is not the way. But then again, we want to ask you, the gamers. I mean, is this something? Are you a vape smoker? I mean, would you buy this? I mean, are we seeing something that we're not seeing? Let us know what's good. But hey, HenricK, I think it's that time. Let's get back into it. Break it down, baby.
Yeah, we're back at it again with another Reddit debate.
Yeah,
and today,
that's right.
The question is, gamers online shared their thoughts about the following. What's one video game character that you are mad that you didn't get to kill? Gamers shared their thoughts on the debate with the following comments. And I know we got a lot because, hey, who doesn't want to kill some of the guys in these games that they don't actually let you to kill, right?
Yeah, like why be so violent after all, right? Now, sometimes certain people need to, axe revenge. Let's go into this first comment we got here is Dexter Deshawn in Cyberpunk. Dude put a bullet in her head. We should have been the one to put a bullet in his. Takamura stole our kill. At least he could go back and desecrate his fat corpse. Yeah, I do remember, playing the Cyberpunk game. I'm like, but I mean, that's just what showcases the day why, these voiceover artists need to have higher wages and protections from AI, because that was just such an excellent performance by this voiceover artist that to make you hate him that much.
Yep.
Delphine in Skyrim, I'd really like her to understand in the brief moments before she's decapitated how little the Dragonborn needs the blades. Fair enough.
Yeah.
My answer is usually the same when answering these. Lucinian Farfax from Fable 2. F you, Reaver, for stealing my vengeance. Throwback right there. I like that.
Yeah.
Next one we got here is F. Ted Faro. Spoilers. I mean, at the end, he got an end that was way worse than a death as. So, I mean, kind of okay, right? We won't spoil it any further, but yes, that person is absolutely correct. Horizon Forbidden West, excellent series. Next one we have here is Makarov in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and 3. Makarov kills Soap and then runs off and you regain control of your character, but a train speeds by while he escapes through a door. I no joke thought you had to follow him and chase him down, but no, you immediately give up and have to go cut the red wire to disarm the bomb because for some reason Price can't just yell or talk on the comms to cut the red wire and go after the terrorist who is trying to start World War III. I also want to extend this to Perseus from Cold War, who is on the right side of the screen, who you spend the entire story chasing and you never mechanically see him. Then he dies from cancer off screen. Yeah, sometimes, they want to switch it up on you gamers, predictability.
Yeah.
Michael's entire family in GTA 5. I wanted to kill the therapist, but found out later that Michael does kill him. I mean, such a funny series. I mean, there is a point where, they do get kidnapped and you can choose to whether to save his family or not. So, there's a bit of that as well. But HenricK, is there one video game character that you're still fuming over that you're not being able to defeat, or is there you're just mad that you didn't get to let all your anger out on this certain character that just gave you just such a dramatic exit from a video game?
After thinking on this, I have to say, you ever play Titanfall 2? And in Titanfall 2, you go around, you're defeating these mercenaries, all led by one guy named Cuban Blisk. Well, at the very end of the game, spoiler alert for if anyone hasn't played the game, you don't get to kill Blisk.
Right.
Instead, he throws his little Apex card on your Titan and says, if you ever need a job, here you go, basically. And then they never, did another Titanfall game because they did Apex Legends, and that instead is now the universe that they want to keep it in is the Apex Legends universe, not the Titanfall universe.
Right. Oh, it was the send off that we really didn't even know what was happening in that
Yeah,
moment.
exactly.
Right? Oh, what about the chickens in Zelda? Right? You know, like
Yeah,
everybody always
that's
has
another
beef
good one.
with the chickens. I know we've referenced that before in previous Reddit debates, but like, man, I'm just telling you, you go to try to take out one, he never dies, and then what does he do? He calls on all his friends, and then you die.
Or even worse than that, you're trying to break open a pot or a crate or something, or cut some grass, and then out of the corner of your camera comes one of those chickens. You hit
Yep.
it, and now it's mad at you, and it's called your friends, and you die.
Yes, exactly. or how about Abby from The Last of Us Part 2? I know that
Oh,
really
yeah.
kind of ruffles some feathers. I mean, I love playing the game. I think the gameplay is excellent. But yeah, like I mean the first playthrough, you get to the end, and try not to spoil too much, but all you have to know is you have such a deep connection for Joel and Ellie that you would have thought, Ellie would have handled it a bit differently with Abby,
Especially
because
having gone to such length to follow Abby at the end. Yeah, why'd you just let that happen? Just walk away and, kind of put it as like well, we'll maybe come back to this in another
well, maybe
game.
because she wanted to shoot a round of 18 holes in golf. Maybe that was the case. Who knows, right? But hey, we want to know from you guys, is there any kind of video game character out there that you wish that you could have had revenge on but never had the opportunity in a video game? Let us know what's good. But again, we want to thank everybody that tunes in live every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, because without your support, gamers, this show would not be possible. And I want to give this time to anybody to scan the QR code so you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell so you never miss a live show.
Yeah, and go ahead and scan that QR code down there as well. You'll go to my YouTube channel and go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell icon. That way you can know when we go live from my channel as well. And you'll know when I go live, because I do go live separately from here and also play some games, hang out, maybe find something new to play.
Yeah, absolutely. HenricK, you got a lot of amazing things cooking up, man. And yeah, you know the drill, fam. Come on now. But again, thank you for joining us. And we will see you guys next Wednesday night at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Peace.